All across the fleet, I've been seeing Helldivers with some very strong opinions on the new DSS. Some are embracing the natural chaos that comes with being a Helldiver, while others have had their expectations massively let down due to leaks and overhype. My name is Commissar Kai, and today we're going to be taking a look at the premier Shock Trooper loadout to remind everyone of just how much fun this game can be when you pick a role and play around your team. So let's dive in and show the bots and bugs what the galaxy's largest military budget can do.
I think I'm gonna call this the anxiety blanket. So that's what it feels like. Like right now, I feel anxious. Now I feel safe. Anxious, safe. Yeah.
Until it, goes away.
And then the anxiety's just all over.
I usually stay out of the more drama-inclined areas of the fleet, preferring showing y'all how to create a role in a team and play it well. This is something I just have to speak on, especially since I'm about to show off a Shock Trooper loadout where you will die a lot, and that is the concept of dying in Helldivers 2. With the new DSS having a crisis of cross-eyed 380 gunners, Helldivers were suddenly and rapidly reminded of our own mortality at the hands of our very own super space station. Apparently, some people were shocked by this, and to those I say, what the hell did you expect, cadet? Do y'all have any idea how often I am blown up, dismembered, shot, stabbed, incinerated, and crushed by my own teammates even before the DSS was a thing? Why do you think I've never recommended the Eagle Cluster Strike in one of my videos? And y'all expected to not get blown up when a massive space station is lobbing hundreds of 380mm shells into your AO? It blows my mind when certain Helldivers question Command's reasoning on this one, because to me, every death is either a lesson in humility or a lesson in taking a joke.
I haven't.
Swinging.
Oh, we're on the Meganus.
Hot drop was called.
Why is it me?
Holy shit.
Every
My
time.
fuck.
I think the problem is just a difference in expectations, though. Command wants us to embrace the chaos of the battlefield and laugh at every death, while others want a more predictable experience, and I'm not here to tell those people they're wrong. I know that sometimes death can feel cheap in this game, but remember, being a Helldiver ain't like being a Space Marine. Good lord, that game fell off fast. And people say Helldivers is dying. Look at this thing. You are meant to die in the most comical and absurd ways possible, because laughing in the face of death is the lot of every Helldiver. We are the innumerable and expendable hordes of Super Earth, and only by our blood and sacrifices do we make progress, even if that sacrifice is at the butt of our teammate's rifle or an errant 380mm barrage. I hope y'all won't fall for the excessive amount of rage bait and hype news circulating through our community on this topic at the moment, and instead enjoy the game that we have and not the game being promised to you by rumors and speculation. We were promised a super space station that would aid us in liberating planets. As far as I'm concerned, that's what we got. It'll take time for the community to figure out how to use this new toy, just like with any new stratagem or weapon. And it'll take time for Command to fine-tune it to our needs and wants. But in the meantime, I'll be out here every week giving y'all new team roles and tactics, because I love spreading managed democracy more than I care about our brand new space station not being a clan hub on day one. Alright, I've said my piece. Let's get back on track and talk about how you can fill the role of a Shock Trooper for your team. We'll start off with what it means to be a Shock Trooper. We want to hit hard and be fast, so we can take out the most sensitive and important objectives on the map before rotating back to our team. This playstyle is very similar to our Saboteur build, with one glaring difference. We're not going to care about doing things quietly. Instead, we're going to jump headfirst into the enemy ranks, unload all of our ordnance, and jump back out to safety so we can regroup with our squad. The most dangerous objectives in the game, like Stalker Layers, Stratagem Jammers, and Detector Towers, stand no chance against a well-equipped and knowledgeable Shock Trooper. Part of being a knowledgeable trooper is knowing your enemy, so we're going to have different setups for the bots and the bugs because they require different playstyles. We'll start with the bots first.
Commissar, back to saluting, please. And...
I will not move. There's a tank.
Alright, I got it.
I will not bow to these robots.
Alright, that was pretty awesome.
I know earlier I was going on and on about embracing your death as a Helldiver, but we do want to prolong that expiration date as long as we possibly can. When you're up against the clankers, that means going one of three routes. First, go unseen. You don't gotta worry about getting blasted in the face by a Strider rocket if the enemy never knows where you are. Stay stealthy, stay hidden, and stay alive. Number 2, layering your defenses. Stacking defensive buffs on yourself allows you to operate more freely in the open without worrying about getting blasted to pieces by a cannon tower. This could be bringing a shield relay, shield pack, ballistic shield, or heavy armor, or a combination of all four. And finally, we have mobility. The bots are already stupid, and their aim is comparable to a drunken stormtroopers. So most often, it's the slow Helldivers out in the open which feel the full brunt of the Clanker's inferior weapons. Keeping yourself mobile enables you to bounce between different sets of cover quickly, allowing you to stay, mostly, free of laser blasts and rockets. Any loadout against the bots should include at least one of these if you don't want to be the primary reason your team's reinforcement budget ran dry. But for this build, we're going to be leaning on layered defense and mobility. Starting off with our stratagems, we have the Jetpack to give us all the mobility we'll need to quickly get in and out of bot fabs and side objectives. We'll be taking the Quasar Cannon to pop fabricators from long range, deal with the occasional Hulk, and to mildly annoy Factory Striders. I don't know why this thing is so bad at killing them, maybe I just suck. The Eagle Strafe and Run to clear out patrols and bases quickly. Seriously, this is one of the best defensive stratagems in the game against bots, so if you aren't using it already, give it a try. And the Orbital Laser for when we really need an oh crap button, or to do a flyby on a heavy bot outpost. You can play around with swapping out your support weapon or the Orbital Laser, but the Strafe and Run is really important for how we're going to be taking on bot outposts and playing our role. For our weapons, we'll be bringing the Explosive Crossbow, because it is absurdly overpowered right now. It allows us to both take fights when we need to and to demolish bot bases. Crossbow has enough stagger to keep us safe, and enough damage to make a cannon tower blush, taking out tanks and towers in just 3 shots to their vents. Which is the same as an autocannon, by the way, for those of you that think this thing is balanced. The high damage, stagger, and ability to demolish bot fabricators all contribute to it being the perfect weapon for a shock trooper that needs to hit hard and get out quickly. Our sidearm is the Senator for close-in Hulk work and because it's my favorite gun in the game. And I don't need a better reason than that. And for our grenade, we're bringing smoke grenades. I know, thermites would make us feel safer when a Factory Strider pops its head up at a bad time or we round a corner into a tank. But smoke grenades are going to be a key factor in us avoiding getting blasted mid-air when we're retreating from a smoldering outpost. They're also very important for clearing objectives that require the use of a hell bomb. Being able to safely detonate a hell bomb to take out a gunship fab or a detector tower is going to be far more valuable than sticking a few thermites on a clanker puppy only to have our teammate recoilless rifle it in the face. This is especially noticeable on the ore extraction mission where you can space out your smokes enough to complete all the inputs for the drill without drawing the fire of the bots. For armor, I'd recommend using a heavy set with either the medic passive or the fortified perk. Both of these will give you a decent amount of extra protection while the Jetpack offsets the main weakness of heavy armor, that being you're slow as hell. This ain't a requirement though, so feel free to use whatever armor you'd like. Just be aware that if you're not running heavy armor, you will be a bit squishy.
Alright, I'm back. Chunky, what the fuck? What the fuck? I hate you! Why do you have to use that goddamn helmet with that goddamn cape?
Finally, we want to take the Vitality Booster to layer on that additional defense. With heavy armor and the Vitality Booster, the only things that'll tap you out in one hit are cannon towers and headshots from Rocket Striders. If you're using the Fortified perk, and don't get smashed against a wall anyway. Now that we know what we're bringing to the fight, let's talk about how to use it to benefit our team. A shock trooper ain't a ghost diver. We're not going to be split off from our team for the whole match. Instead, we're going to run with our team and only branch off when we see an objective around the area our team is operating in and a bot drop is on its way. By waiting for a bot drop to get called in, we're going to ensure that we won't get surprised while we're trying to take down a high priority objective like a detector tower or stratagem jammer. So as soon as you see that red flare go up, take a look at your minimap, locate the biggest and baddest clanker outpost nearby, and take to the skies. Your crossbow, eagle strafe and runs, and quasar cannon will be plenty capable of taking on most bot objectives while your team keeps the bot's attention. But if you find yourself in a Hulk village or staring down the chin guns of a Factory Strider, you can always call in that orbital laser to wipe out those heavy targets while you focus on the objective. Once your mission is complete, Jetpack back to your team and help them out with any stragglers. We do this both out of the spirit of team play, but also to bide our time waiting for another bot drop. We aren't really equipped with this loadout to take out bot drops on our own. So if one gets called in on us, we'll be pretty much forced to jump out and regroup anyway. In my opinion, it's much better to stick with your team so bot drops are more predictable and you have more control over where you choose to operate. Just be sure you're still using your mobility to bounce between different pieces of cover and break in line of sight. On bots, if you're caught out in the open, you're putting yourself in the fast pass lane to the wall of martyrs. If you like where this build is going so far, then like the video, cadet. That one click is the best way to support the channel and manage democracy by spreading the good word of team play and cooperation. If you're in need of teammates to play with, then enlist in my platoon by clicking the link to the Discord in the description below. My commandos are the most active and team play oriented Helldivers in the fleet. We love showing F and G's the ropes. But now, let's get on to the bugs.
And jump!
Follow.
Ah, that's cool. Keep moving.
Explosive artillery inbound. Get the hell out.
Yep.
Oh my god. That's amazing. And I'm getting it without the HUD. This is the most incredible thing ever. Holy crap.
Oh, let's
Dude.
go.
The hit and run playstyle of a Jetpack GI is even more effective on the bug front, for one very simple reason: the lack of ranged enemies. When nearly every target has to get within melee range to turn you into fertilizer, being able to boost yourself out of danger and follow it up with crushing firepower almost feels unfair to the bugs. Almost. But different enemies require different tactics and weapons, so let's go over those. For stratagems, we'll of course be bringing our jetpack. This time we're going to pair it with the grenade launcher. This 1-2 punch of firepower and mobility is crippling to the bug's ability to fight back, since everything smaller than a charger is going to get shredded with just a few rounds from your grenade launcher. The grenade launcher is somehow still an underrated weapon, but with the buffs to its damage and ammo capacity, nowadays it's a powerhouse of a support weapon. Its ability to clear chaff quickly is the best in the game, and it doesn't really have much in the way of competition. Just be sure to ration your ammo when you don't have a supply pack, and really put those nades where they need to be most. If you need to hold a position for an extended period of time, call in a resupply with your team to get an extra 3 belts of 40 mics whenever you need it. Piling on this idea of crowd control, we're also bringing the Orbital Gatling Barrage. With a 75-second cooldown and a 20-second duration, you will always have this thing up when you need it. But more importantly, it's very easy to coax the bugs into this 30mm fly swatter by tossing it a bit in front of you and then jetpacking away the safety. Rounding out our stratagem slots, we have the 500kg bomb. This one can be flexed into other options, but it's the best answer we have for clearing those densely packed bug nests and for blasting Bile Titans. For our weapons, we're going to lean on the Arc Blitzer as our primary. I know this one is a bit of a controversial choice for some, since occasionally it'll dry fire without an obvious reason, but the sheer amount of control it gives you is worth the occasional misfire. There's even a few ways you can mitigate the misfire chance, like using high ground, which thanks to our jetpack is very easy to do, and avoiding giant piles of dead bodies. That said, the raw firepower it gives you is 100% worth the risk in my opinion. I can't think of any other primary in the game that can deal with 4 stalkers at once without you taking a hit in the process. Stagger, medium penetration, and infinite ammo are all perfect for a short-range shock trooper. If you don't have this one, bring your favorite shotgun instead, since we really want that stagger to buy ourselves time we need for the jetpack to come back online. Our sidearm's going to be the Bushwhacker shotgun, just so we have an answer to Shriekers. The dagger's another good option because it's also very good at Shriekers and dealing with a little bit of chaff. Just be wary of those flying rats if you ever choose to bring something else, since the Arc Blitzer really struggles to bring them down. For our grenade slot, we're bringing thermites, just so we have an answer for isolated chargers when we're off blowing up bug holes. Bile Titans can be mostly avoided by using terrain in our jetpack, but if we need to deal with one, we can just slap 2 spicy sparklers on them and dip out, or dump a 500kg bomb on their head. We'll be bringing light grenadier armor for that extra mobility and thermites, but any light armor will do in a pinch. And our booster is going to be the stamina enhancement or experimental infusion for even more mobility, because staying ahead of the bugs is the best way to stay alive. I know for some Helldivers the idea of taking a specialized loadout like this can be intimidating, but I want to remind y'all that you can and should rely on your team, even if they're random players. Specializing your loadout has both selfless and selfish benefits in a cooperative game like Helldivers. In this case, we're specialized in demolition and crowd control, with only 2 answers to big targets, those being our thermites and 500kg. Even though we have somewhat limited and unreliable answers to heavy armor, with thermites being able to bounce off and 500s being able to miss, I want y'all to remember that most Helldivers will drop in with an abundance of anti-tank ordnance. This is because those big enemies make the cadets quake in their boots more than if Eagle 1 handed them a CO1 permit, causing them to overcompensate and bring far more AT than is strictly necessary. But we can use the insecurities of these FNGs to our advantage by clearing a path for them to get clean shots on those walking oil tankers. We can also help them out by staggering nearby enemies with our primary and clearing the map for them to give them more room to maneuver. Like in this game, I ran into not 1, not 2, but 3 stalker layers while I was jetpacking around the map. Taking these out myself meant a huge morale boost for my team, and potentially saved us a lot of trouble down the line. I was able to do this because I had enough mobility and stagger to take these invisible cowards head on. If I had brought a recoilless rifle and a purifier, there is no way I would have been able to get through this unscathed, even though those are both some of the best weapons in the entire game right now. There are countless ways to work together in Helldivers, but only through specializing your loadouts will you start to notice most of them. Heck, you might even come up with a loadout or a role that looks so incredibly fun that your team wants to try it out in the next match. But for this role, Our focus on crowd control and clearing objectives made even the most difficult moments fun. I was frequently turning off my HUD just to enjoy the carnage I wrought upon the enemy, as I cleansed their hordes and destroyed their nests. Even the mega bases were no match for 4 Helldivers jetpacking around and shoving explosives into their holes. The only real danger you'll face is getting too focused on blowing up what's in front of you, since a warrior sneaking up on your rear can end you in just 2 hits. Stay mobile and keep your head on a swivel. Kill what you can and run from what you can't. Follow these simple rules and you too will get to enjoy the bliss of sailing through the air, tossing stratagems and launching grenades. Just be careful of spore chargers getting too close after you slap a thermite on them. Just because you leap away doesn't mean that acne-ridden boulder ain't still coming to share the fun of his death. The jetpack is a stratagem that takes a bit of patience to get used to. It trades security and a little bit of firepower for unparalleled mobility. And in this game, mobility is also a weapon. Being able to position yourself in the perfect spot for an ambush on the bots, or to hold back a bug breach, can be a far more powerful tool than something like a shield pack. We're able to reach places other Helldivers can't, and we can dip in and out of fights in a way that is completely unavailable to other roles. We can use this mobility in some pretty creative ways as well, like getting a load of bots to follow us before turning around and dumping a walking barrage on their heads. The sky's the limit when you embrace your creativity with how you use your mobility. So let me know if any of y'all have any stellar jetpack builds you're eager to share. The more we share with each other, the more fun and creative methods we'll have for conquering the galaxy. And that'll remain true whether we're cooking up new loadouts or finding the best way to use this massive hunk of space junk. But until next time, this is Commissar Kai, signing out.